Abu 7, it looks like big cyber attacks targeting major U.S. airports has begun. Today, they're saying these alleged hackers from within Russia that go by the name of Killnet are claiming responsibility for targeting multiple U.S. airports and disrupting the systems in terms of air traffic control and their internal systems, all their communications. Now, they say that this did not disrupt any flights. They were able to maintain everything, stave off the attacks, so to speak, this DDoS attack, denial of public access. All this targeting multiple airports. Now, there is a list that has been put out. This may not be over with. This may continue. The list here is showing out of Chicago, O'Hare, Iowa's main airport, Kansas's main airport, Kentucky's airports out of Louisville and CVG in northern Kentucky, the Fly MSY site in AEX out of Louisiana, the BWI airport out of Maryland. Some of these, I'm not sure the exact name because they've just got a bunch of letters. I'm not sure exactly what airport that's going to be, but there's a list here that I'm going to leave below in a link, and I'm going to continue to update if we see any more of these attacks. I told you that after the Nord Stream stuff going down, you should expect something. This is kind of small. This could go large scale. This could be just the beginning of all of this. Either way, I'll keep you posted. Follow me on Twitter. Join me Monday and Friday for the live streams, 9 p.m. Eastern on Dabu777. You'll find links below. Hit that subscribe button for more. Much love, you.
Alright, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Yahweh Kakodash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. I would like to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I've learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am the brother Mashiach Arazakah from the Servants of Yahweh Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And pretty much one of the beloved brothers of mine, the brother Yanazar of Servants of Yahweh Yahweh Shai Camp of South Carolina. He uploaded this video of Dabu 7, going again into those power EMP attacks. They call cyber attacks, and the craziest thing is what they're doing. What this place is called America is doing is they're blaming it on the other countries to fulfill their agenda. All right, they're saying that these other countries are doing cyber attacks to the airport systems, where clearly it's all basically by design for Esau to fulfill his agenda. But they're claiming that Russia is doing cyber attacks to their airport systems. All right, and we know what that's all about. It's basically them fulfilling their own agenda to establish their new world order. All right, and this is going into again an EMP attack. All right, and for those of you that don't know, what is an EMP attack? All right, an EMP attack is electric magnetic pulse that can shut down electricity. You won't have access to use your phone. You won't have access to drive your vehicle. And I'm going to prove that as well, because I always say it, but I'm going to prove it. An EMP attack, when an EMP attack ever occurs, you can't drive your vehicle. You got to have like a 1960 vehicle or earlier type model. You can't have a 2000 or a 1999 or any type of vehicle like that, because that all runs off of GPS. So you're not going to be able to use that vehicle. All right, you're not going to be able to drive a modern day vehicle, and if you got a push start vehicle, you're really not going to be able to drive that. All right, so this is the times that we coming into. This is Jacob trouble. We're coming into the beginning of it. It says, and when you type it in, because this is what I type in, what happens if an EMP attack? All right, what happens if an EMP attack occurs? It says an EMP attack will destroy electronics, see, and the digital circuitry in the area of impact, thereby denying electricity power to our homes. So that means you won't be able to keep your food refrigerated. You won't be able to take showers. Um, you won't be able to use your cell phone. You won't be able to use the internet. You won't be able to use any of that. All right. It says businesses. It'll affect jobs. It's gonna affect if you're a person that work in an office. You ain't gonna be able to do anything in that office because you need electricity to do everything all the work that you do in the office. That's gonna fuck up businesses. That's gonna fuck up a lot of things. It says and military. Our country is dependent. See, America. Our country is dependent on electricity to power our health. You got people that's in the hospitals. You got people that's on a life support. You got people that's needing that electricity, to keep the oxygen machine working. It's gonna fuck up hospitals. It says financial. See, financial. How's it gonna fuck up financial? Because when an EMP attack come, you won't be able to use your credit cards. You won't be able to use your banking. You won't be able to use your bank account, and you won't be able to use Bitcoin because that all runs off electricity as well. So you ain't gonna have no access to your accounts. Your accounts are gonna be frozen. So you ain't gonna be able to have no access to those accounts. Transportations. Again, you won't be able to drive your vehicle. You won't be able to drive a vehicle, and I'm gonna prove that. You won't be able to, when an EMP attack come, you won't be able to drive your vehicle. And business systems. So it's gonna affect a lot of people. This is gonna affect a lot of people. All right. And when you put in, look at this, because I always talk about it. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Let me see what I can show. I'm gonna show you right now, because I just want to prove this point real quick. Um, Salakia. Let me see if I can, because I just want to prove this part. See if I can go back one more time. Salakia, brothers, because I just want to prove this. I was just reading this. Let me see. Here we go. Salakia for all that. But I just want to prove, because I was just reading this before I did this lesson. It says, what year vehicles would survive an EMP attack? Check this out. It says, and cars made in the 60s or earlier. So the only way through an EMP attack you'll be able to drive a vehicle will have to be a 1960 vehicle and further back to and lesser than that, like 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950, 60 vehicles, because those don't run off GPS. Those don't run off actual electricity like the cars that we have today do. It says, or earlier, before the widespread automotive use of solid state electronics. And I used to wonder, like, because it's crazy, because the older vehicles, notice that, like, the 1970s, I mean, not 70s, 60s, even 70s, 60s, 40s, you can't even get the parts to those vehicles. All right? You can't even get those parts to those vehicles. But Esau's doing that on purpose, too, because he don't want anybody to have access of mobile vehicle driving in that time. So all this is being established through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai. It says, and cars made in the 60s or earlier, before the widespread automotive use of solid state electronics, are the least vulnerable of all. But no car, no matter how old, is granted to survive a direct hit from the EMP. So you have to have like a 1960 or lower, but it also says no car, all right, no matter how old, is guaranteed to survive a direct hit from the EMP attack. So you're not going to be able to use your vehicle. See, And I wasn't making this up. You won't be able to drive or use your vehicle. It says, how do I EMP prove my house? It says proof my house. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it on that. But I just wanted to prove that point. You know, you're not going to be able to drive your vehicle if an EMP attack occurs. And it said it right then and there. No vehicle. It says 1960 or earlier, but no matter how old the vehicle is, you won't be able to drive it at all. So it's a if, but you won't be able to drive no vehicle at all. So that's going to be a devastating time for a lot of people, because that's what it's going into, an EMP attack, which is also a part of Jacob trouble. Now, I'm not saying I know when it's going to come, but it's going to come. This is Jeremiah 30:5. It says, for thus saith the Lord, it says, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, not of peace. We're not in a time of peace. You got people stressed out right now. You got a lot of people on strikes. You got the railroad trains, shut down. All right, you got people that's in the hospital field. They're getting paid regular wages instead of getting paid the extra hours that they're working. They're getting paid regular hours. All right, and they working double hours in that. So you got people upset. You got people on strike for that. You got the truckers that's on strike still, because a lot of them got laid off. They ain't got the money like that no more. People are working for free, and this is bugging people out. It's making people angry. It's upsetting people. It's upsetting the community. It's making people upset. All of these things that's taken out. So we're not in a time of peace. We're in a time of fear. All right. You got wars going on in Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on. Verse 6, it says, as ye know and see, whether a man doeth travail with child, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his lines as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness, feeble and weak. Because you got a lot of people that's stressing out right now. People are stressing out. People freaking out. So just in case of an EMP attack occurs too, that also goes in with famine of the word. All right, famine of the word, famine of this truth. All right. So again, if you are so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you want to be getting this truth as much as possible. All right. You want to be studying and building and learn. This is why the elders are saying, once you learn enough of this truth, go out and start teaching. Because we're in the last days, man. We're in the last days. We're in the last days. And the only way for us to get saved is by laboring. So if you're a Jake that's been in this truth longer than a year to 6 months, and you haven't did no lessons, you ain't did no labors of your own, all right, since you came into this truth. You've been in this truth since 2013, 2012, and you've been in this truth this whole entire time, and you never ever did a lesson for the Lord, never did any lessons, never went to camp. You're going to be a bad individual. It's going to be a fucked up situation for you. Salakia, my alarm. It's going to be a fucked up situation for you, because you didn't do nothing to glorify the Lord. So when Jacob trouble come, how are you going to be delivered? You didn't do nothing for the Lord. Yeah, you got the truth, but you didn't do nothing for the Lord with it. So you're going to be a messed up person. This is why, again, you want to, if you learn enough of this truth, teach as much as possible. Labor as much as possible. And I'm speaking for myself first and foremost. You want to be doing lessons consistently more. This is the year of turn up. We don't know when this place is going to fall apart. But you want to be prepared. And how by being prepared is what? Measuring the times diligently, as the scriptures say, and laboring, doing as much works as you can. It doesn't matter. You individually, again, is working out your own salvation. So, you got to really pay attention to what's going on. Verse 6. As you know and see whether a man doeth travail with child, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his lawns, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Verse 7. Alice, for that day is great. See? Alice, for that day is great. So there's none like it. Because the time that we're coming into, this is going to be a global thing. This is going to be a global thing. Worldwide. You're not going to be able to escape this. An EMP attack, this is going to be global. A global economic collapse, that's going to be global. You're not going to be able to escape that. You ain't going to be able to escape that. Because you got Jakes, that's being carnal and simple-minded in the head. They're moving out of the U.S. right now and going way to Hawaii. You can't escape the judgment of the Lord. You can't. It's all established through Yahweh Bashim Hashai. Alright? It says, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness. Verse 7, Alice, for that day is great, so there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And that's the time that we coming into. We're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Who's the he? The elect. Now, the elect is going to be saved, but you got people out there teaching that they're going to be saved before Jacob's trouble. Or you got Jake's teaching that they already in Jacob's trouble, which neither of those is correct. All right, neither of those is correct. According to Daniel chapter 12, all right, Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1, all right, we have to go through Jacob's trouble before we can be saved. We got to endure through Jacob's trouble. We got to go through Jacob's trouble first before we can be saved. All right, but you got Israelites out there with these weird doctrines teaching that they're going to be saved before Jacob's trouble, and they're going to or that they're already in Jacob's trouble. Like they believe right now is Jacob's trouble, and it's not. It's not. Because if it was Jacob's trouble, I wouldn't be doing no lesson right now. None of us would be able to use the internet. We wouldn't be able to use the internet. Brothers would not be able to go on the highways and byways. I wouldn't even be getting ready to go to work in an hour. We wouldn't be able to do any of that right now if we was in Jacob's trouble. So, neither of those is correct. We got to go through Jacob's trouble first. And this is Proverbs 1 and 26. Because, the Lord's been speaking through his prophets for years. He's been speaking through his men for years. And you got people that either walk by the camp. They'll throw their fists up, saying shalom and all that. But they ain't never did nothing for the Lord. They just heard it or seen brothers. So they go by the camp, say shalom, and then keep walking. Like, just because you think you're doing something by saying shalom, you're not doing shit. If you ain't did nothing for the Lord, you just walking by the camp and just saying shalom and just keep walking forward. You just, he's Jake may be with his woman. He got some fringe. He got a fringe T-shirt on, and he's walking with his woman and he's saying shalom and just walking around with some fringes and going down the street. That don't mean shit, because you ain't did nothing for the Lord. You could dress like that and have fringes and walk around fringe T-shirts and do all that. That ain't doing shit, because you ain't did nothing for the Lord. You ain't actually took out time to study, literally watch those lessons, take notes. You ain't had the audacity to do none of that. So just because you got fringes and you got a nice long ass beard and you got a fro, that don't mean shit. If you ain't did no lessons, that don't mean shit. You could literally wear a garment. If you ain't did shit for Yahweh Shemashai, that don't mean shit. You ain't got no works to show for yourself. You don't have no works to show. Then, everything you're doing is a waste. It's a waste spending money for a garment. It's a waste doing all of that, because you ain't doing nothing for the Lord. So when that time comes, and, I pray we're not those individuals. Anybody that's watching this video, or, anybody in our camp, we pray that we're not those individuals. All right, because this is what's going to happen. Proverbs 1 and 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. And what's a calamity? What's a calamity? Right? It says calamity.
Calamity.
An event causing great or often sudden damage or distress, a disaster. That's what a calamity is. And the Lord is doing that. The Lord is intensifying his wrath. It says, I will mock when your fear cometh. Why? Because the Lord had prophets out, and the Lord was speaking through those prophets, and you despise the word. You despise the instructions given of Yahweh Shemashai. You didn't want to take heed to that. You wanted to, only God knows when the world going to end. Only God can judge me. I have my own free will. God loves everybody. You let your own imaginations of your opinion, all right, embedded in your mind, instead of really listening and taking the time to study and get right under Yahweh Shemashai. You rebelled against that. So now the Lord is going to have to do his judgment, and you're going to try, in that time, you're going to try to seek it, and it's going to be too late. Verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation, because this is what's coming. EMP attack, the global economic collapse, the crash of the depletion of the dollar. All right. The MOTB being a new currency. This is what's coming. It says, your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish shall come upon you. People are going to be stressed out in that time. They're going to be bugged out in that time. They're not going to be able to keep their apartment. They're not going to be able to keep their house. that nice house you got with that 2020 vehicle, 2021, 2022 people that's living leverage right now, you guys are going to be fucked up in that time because you never went through anything. You know, everything was just a piece of cake for you because you had trillions of dollars, thousands of dollars. But once this place completely falls apart, when the digital currency is fully in effect and you have to have the MOTB and your bank card, your credit card and all that ain't going to fucking work and they're not going to take that, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Amos 8:11, it says, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but hearing of the word of the Lord. And this is what's getting ready to take place. Famine of the word. They're going to get rid of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and TikTok. They're going to get rid of those social media platforms, man. The EMP attack is going to affect everything. All right? And this is what's going to happen. When that stuff happens, this is what people are going to try to do. And they shall wander from sea to sea, right? It says, and from the north even unto the east. So they're going to go from city to city, state to state, all right? Country to country, state to state, right? It says, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord. This prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet, but it's coming. People going to literally try to go online. They're going to try to go to the camps where the brothers was teaching, and you're not going to see them there. Because once the Lord has gathered his elect, that's it. That is it, man. That is it. Once the Lord has gathered his elect, that is it. Ain't going to be no more YouTube, no more of those platforms. And then those of you that didn't take heed, you're going to realize that those men were the true prophets. And you're going to try to go out there to try to get it, and it's going to be too late. It says, the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. That's when they're going to try to, what's the name they were calling on? Oh, I can't remember the name. What's the name? You're going to try to go on the internet. You're not going to be able to get it. You're going to try to, they might even try to, they may have a close, a homeboy that was, in the truth. Let's say there's a Jake that had a friend that was in the truth. Right? Now, just because you think he's in the truth, if he don't have the correct name, you also fucked up. Because you got to know the name of the Lord. You might think, oh yeah, my homeboy is in the truth. I'm gonna hit him up. You say if you did run into him, if he's calling on Ahia, he's calling on Yahuwah, you're gonna be fucked up because you got to know the name of the Lord. That also goes into famine of the word because you got to know the name of the Lord. The scriptures say in Romans 10 and 13 that whosoever call upon the name of the Lord should be saved. You got to know the name of the Lord too. That's a big part. So yeah, you may run into an individual that you may know that's supposedly in the truth, but you gotta see Salakia. You gotta see what doctrine he's in too. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Right? It says, come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right? So who's our creator? Yahweh Bashim Ashai. You want to remember our creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Why? Because Yahweh Bashim Ashai is intensifying his judgment. The Lord is intensifying his wrath. Alright? So we ain't got much time left. You want to be laboring, you want to be doing the works, you want to be really sustaining this truth, because the times is coming, right? Revelations 3 and 10. And this is why, again, you got to have faith and you got to be fully persuaded in your mind, because the time that we coming into is going to bug a lot of people out. All right, but the Lord is going to protect his elect. And how we know is this: Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Who kept the word of the Lord in patience? The hopeful elect. Started from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down to the sincere brothers like ourselves. We kept the word of the Lord in patience. We waited patiently for him. And that word patient goes into the meaning of upamane, which means consistency or endurance. So we've been consistent through time in this truth, waiting on the Lord patiently. It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, and to try them that dwell upon the earth. And this is what is going to happen. But those of you that's not been in this truth like that, you're not going to know that you are to be dependent on the Lord and being faithful on the truth and praying and ask the Lord to deliver you and calling upon his name, because you wasn't doing that. You were so busy being worldly, all right? You were so busy being embedded in this world that you never got those understandings. So you're going to be bugged out, leaning into your own understanding on how to do things, and you're going to be killed. The Lord's going to have you be put to death. All right, Micah 2:10, it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." See, so you're not supposed to be treating this place as your rest. This place is falling apart. You're in a big ass dream right now. You want to be woken up out of sleep. That's why the scriptures say, all right, you're supposed to wake up out of sleep, because we're coming into those times. You don't want to be, trying to be lavish here, because it is polluted. Everything here is polluted. It's wicked. It shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. This place is going to be destroyed with thermonuclear destruction, thermonuclear fire. So why would you want to be focused on the things here? All right, so, I'm in it there with that. All right, Lord willing, that's edifying. I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh Bashim Ashai, Bashim Wakakodash. All right, peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brother, scattered abroad, pushing forth this word of truth, sincerity. I'm your brother Mashiach Arazakah from the servants of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And Lord willing, that's edifying. So, hey, you don't have too much time left. If you're an individual that's been in this truth 6 months and above, it's time to start getting busy. Start doing the works. Start laboring. Because you ain't got much time yet. And if you a Jake that's just now coming to my video, you better start learning and getting this truth before it's too late. All right. So, Lord willing, that's edifying. And I was you, I will highly recommend you to follow Great Millstone Hebrew Israelites too, by the way. So follow Great Millstone. So Lord willing, that's edifying. Till next time I say, Shalom.